Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here in one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call Taking My Community Back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're gonna bridge that gap because we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved. I'm here today at one of our community outreach days with our sound truck. And our sound truck is used for just what you see. We come out to community days, we play loud music, and be able to just have a good time with it and enjoy our community. At a sheriff's office, you get to see us in a little different light. We're not always out there writing tickets or locking people up. We come out to your community day and be a part of your day and help you celebrate your community. And this is just one of the ways that we can do that, was with our sound truck. We're here today in one of our communities. We brought our ice cream truck out. A lot of people like to laugh when I say the sheriff's office owns an ice cream truck, but this is exactly what it's for, is we bring it out to our communities. We give away ice cream. We don't charge for the ice cream. The ice cream is free. And we have partners in our businesses in our community that help pay for the ice cream so that we can give it away for free. And we give it away. We go to schools. This is just one of many events that we bring our ice cream truck to. We go to the school systems. We come out to community days, block parties. We just come out and see you and help you enjoy and celebrate your community. Thank you.
You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon.
Hey, hello, and welcome again to another edition of Talk Show Kings. This is an exciting day. We have a special guest, but first, I would like to thank the producer of the show, Mr. Felix Washington, and all the folks in Douglasville, Georgia, and around the globe. You know, we have an interesting topic, but first, I got to at least say this much. We want to put a shout out for a couple of our kings. They're off right now, and they'll be back tomorrow. Should I say next week? But we're going to be talking about something truly serious today, stalking. But first, let me get at the crew on the set. To start with me, I am your host today. My name is King Ralph, and to my left is
King Yaquez, and to my left is
King Eric.
And together we are
the Talk Show Kings.
I tell y'all every time we sound like we could be the Temptations, man. No, but on a serious note, we're going to talk about something so serious today. and it affects a lot of people in various ways. I remember stalking. I remember as locker room talk, guys used to say, "Hey man, it'd be cool if a girl stalking me." Yeah, it's kind of cute at some point, but it's not cute when homicide steps in. It always into something like fatality, and that's not good because I know we heard the stories. And also, I'm about to introduce my guest, but first I want to say, please, you see the phone number, and we asking if you can donate to keep this program going. We're the only studio that's really making it happen in Douglasville, Georgia. But first, I want to introduce my first guest, and it's a beautiful young lady at the end, but be careful, guys. She's a police officer, and I just want to introduce her. Her name is Sergeant, I'm gonna spoil it, Christine Clark, 24 years in law enforcement, assigned to Criminal Investigation Division, supervisor over crimes against children and juvenile crimes. She worked in schools for several years as a school resource officer. Her passion is children and serving and protecting the citizens of Douglasville County. And her thing is, she says, children are our future. If we can help one child multiply, we are making a difference. But you know, I just want to say this too also. That was her background, but did she have a personal note? So she's also married. She married a high school sweetheart. And they've been married, get this, guys, for 33 years. My goodness. I was married 33 years, but you got to add that between 4 wives. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. But anyway, she have 2 sons, Aaron, 32, and Blake, I believe he is 30. And then she have a beautiful daughter who I met today, a little Trinity. It's the cutest she can be. And she adopted Blake, and they had her since she was 4 months old. And I believe, I can't wait to get to talk more about her family. So let's give a round of applause to Christine. Y'all, let's give her a hand right now. Yeah, I put the chatter in it. Yes. And thanks to our studio's audience. And before we get to asking you any questions, before you introduce yourself, I just want to say one thing. I want to thank Tim Pound and the Sheriff Department for letting us, speak to this young lady in your behalf. So we go to you, Christine. Introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
So first of all, I want to wish my husband, Joey, a happy 53rd birthday.
Oh, all right. Let's give him a happy birthday, crowd.
Happy birthday.
Thank God. It's hard to make a birthday these days.
So, my name is actually Christina.
Okay, I stabbed it.
And but I go by Christy.
Okay.
I adopted Trinity when she was 4. We got her when she was 4 months old out of the DFAC system.
Oh, really?
And we've had her since she was 4 months old.
Oh, okay.
I do have 2 biological sons, Blake and Aaron, who are 32 and 30. And
okay.
One's married, one's not.
Okay.
So Aaron lives in Ball Ground, and my son lives here in Carrollton.
Okay.
Blake does. My husband and I have been married 33 years. He's a great dad, great father, great husband.
Okay.
We love to camp. We're real outdoorsy people.
And I heard you was a Christian.
I am a Christian.
Okay, I like that. Hey, touche. I'm with you, my sister.
Yes, sir.
And just real quick, DFACS. Some people might not know what that is.
It's the Department of Family and Children's Services.
Okay. Okay, so you adopted because you know someone? Did you know the actual individual adopted from, or you just?
Yes, we knew the parent. We knew the mom, the biological mom. She had reached out to us when DFACS took custody of the child.
Oh, that was sweet.
And asked us to help her out, so we helped her out. Long term, we were not thinking we were going to adopt, but we ended up adopting.
Oh, praise God. That's a blessing. Everybody needs a home.
So how did it feel, you got 2 sons that are over the age of 18, basically starting over?
Had to do a lot of praying. A whole lot of praying. But like I said, my passion is children. I believe that the children are our future, and that I don't know, God placed it on me to take her. I actually even stepped down as an investigator at the time.
Really?
To a Monday through Friday job so that I could keep her and not work some swing shifts, because back when I got her, I was an investigator working juvenile crimes and crimes against children, and I wanted to be able to be home more, have a normal schedule, so I asked to step down. So I stepped down for a year, worked in the lobby at the sheriff's office, taking reports, meeting with the people, like the citizens of Douglas County, doing things like that before I went back to investigations as a sergeant.
Oh, okay. That's something. I like that. You know, it's interesting because we have you here on a serious note, and it's a serious thing that's not happening just in maybe city of Douglasville, but it's happening then all around the world. But we're not asking you about that. We're asking about Douglasville stalking, and that's a serious thing because, believe it or not, I was stalked at one time, and it actually scared me. I remember I dated this girl, and my story was, we dated about, I don't know, a couple of months, and for some reason I was at the gym, and I was talking to some other girls, and she said, "We're not supposed to talk to you." I'm like, "Why?" They said, "Such and such told us not to talk to you." I kid you not. I looked down there, and it's like this person is looking at me like this. And I'm gonna tell you, I was scared to death. And I'm a big guy over this girl, but you know, I don't believe it had nothing to do with size. I think if anybody have that in their minds, this doesn't matter. And it's not just women being stalked, men. It happens both anywhere, right?
It does. It goes both ways. Yes.
I'm just saying. But so tell us what you do as a investigator. You're over your supervisor, I believe. But what now?
So I'm a supervisor over crimes against children and juvenile crimes.
Oh, okay. So you know, I won't put you on the spot here and embarrass you or anything. Is there something that you can tell us, something like some case that doesn't affect your job or something? Or you might know of another case happened in another state. People you connect. Do officers connect with other police officers in other states? They talk and communicate?
We do, because some of the cases we get maybe started in Douglasville, but then it could also, the crime could go to the other state, especially when you're talking about stalking.
Yes.
Or you're talking about crimes against children. The crime that took place here, they might have moved here, but prior to being here, it could have happened in that other state.
Oh, okay.
So we do talk to other states, other counties. All crimes could go to other jurisdictions, not just our jurisdiction.
Okay. Oh, you want to say something?
Oh, no, it was just about, I don't know if the reason why how we came up with this topic for this week, I don't know if I know it was on the news, heard about the lady down in Griffin that was killed in front of the courthouse who was being stalked by her husband.
Yes, sir. Actually, Mr. Smith had told me about that. Yes. And I've worked some stalking cases.
Really?
Yes, I have.
So I'm sure, I mean, you know, you ever worked a case and somebody been stalked, you had to go talk to the family after it was a homicide behind it?
No, I have not ever had to work a stalking case that there was a homicide behind it.
Gosh, it's got to be hard. I don't care. It's traumatic. And I always wondered, it could be traumatic for me just watching something like that happen. But even though you're a police officer, I believe you have a soul, spirit, compassionate mind. You take things to heart. You got to deal with certain things. Especially dealing with children. I mean, as I told you off the set, I have 13 grandkids and one great. I couldn't imagine anything happening to them, especially like the shooting was just a few weeks ago. It just touched me. It really did touch me. I remember looking at the TV saying, "My condolences." I'm speaking to the TV, in Jesus' name. It's got to be traumatic.
Oh, it is for, even though we're police officers or deputy sheriffs or whatever we do, we are still human.
Yeah.
So stuff still bothers us. So we have to still go home, decompose, and get to be able to lay your head down and sleep at night.
Yeah, your regular life, your personal life, and
I mean, like I said, we're still human. Even though we're every day going out doing what we need to do, we still just like you or just like everybody else.
Yeah, I can imagine you come home and your husband, hey honey, how was your day? And you have that look. He just know how to back off or something, like, okay.
Well, he does ask me every day how my day was, and I tell him if I have a good day or if I have a bad day. But it's hard to talk to your family about maybe some of the cases you work. So as a law enforcement officer, we always tell people don't be scared to go talk to somebody that's not your family. If you are dealing with a case that's really bothered you, I'm not ashamed to say it. We all have to go out and talk to a specialist sometimes, and you should not be afraid to do that.
Now, question: how are you able to? What am I trying to say? Take emotion out of it. Now, you know, work cases, and you get to some places where it might be a crime against the child or something. How are you able to take emotion out of it to keep professional at all times?
You got to remember that in the long run, you're there to protect that child. So you have to be professional, because if you're not and you don't do what's in the best interest of your victim, then you're not helping your victim. So when you're working a case, you have to be professional. Even though you may be angry at what they've done to your victim, to help that victim, you have to do your job. You have to be professional, because in the end, you're going to try to make the charge, get enough probable cause to make your charge. And then once you've done that, it's turned over to the DA. They prosecute it. We don't.
Just by you answering that, I see I could be a cop. Because I love children. And, you know, when I first spoken to you on the line, on the phone, you said something, and I thought of Whitney Houston, that phrase you said, children are our future. And I'm like, wait a minute, you trying to sing a song or something? But you was serious. And,
no, I am serious.
And, yeah, I read a lot of things about you. You are, and you worked in the school system. You became friendly with a lot of those students. Did they communicate, talk to them? Their life, what's going on with them? You could figure some things that's happening.
Yes, sir. I was at Alexander for 7 years when I was a school resource officer. I had a partner, Louis Fredenberg was my partner there. We were partners for 7 years. We got real involved with the children. You get to know them, because then they will talk to you and tell you things.
Yeah.
And then I went over to Lithia for 3 years, and my partner was Aaron Smith, and we got real involved. He was a baseball coach with the baseball team, and then I did the concession stand for our basketball team.
Okay.
So we did a lot of things to show the kids that we were there not only as an officer, but to show them that we cared about them.
Yeah.
And so that they would trust us to come and talk to us if they had issues. Because if you don't know your students, then you're not there to help them. Because stalking don't only happen with adults, it happens in the schools too.
Really?
It happens. You can have, you can meet somebody at a church camp and just say hello to somebody, and they can be that person that thinks wrong.
She likes me.
Right.
He likes me.
And then it ends up to be a stalking case.
Okay. With that, let me ask you this. What is the definition of stalking, and how does that differ from harassment?
So stalking is when you put somebody under surveillance. You place them under surveillance, or you contact a person that doesn't want to be contacted in about a place or place without that person's permission. So, in harassment, even though stalking and harassment are almost the same, harassing can be done by texting them, calling them multiple times, and then it turns into stalking when you're putting them under surveillance, you're doing stuff without their consent.
So it's good you said that, because if someone's texting, it's good to keep this evidence and you say, please, I I don't want to be involved with you. I met you here, and I thought we would just hello, but please don't contact me anymore. And they go to get a restraining because someone told me a restraining order don't really works, and I'm sure it does. A restraining order, right?
So we do advise people to get a restraining order. There's temporary protective orders that are 12-month orders, or a judge can give a permanent protective order, which is permanent. We do advise that, and they're handed that and told not to contact them, but that doesn't mean they won't, but it's in place. What that does is put that in place that if they keep, because stalking is a misdemeanor.
Oh, really?
So it only turns into a felony.
You act on it?
If you're convicted of stalking after the second time. But it can turn into a felony if you keep doing it, and we charge you with aggravated stalking. So if you break the TPO, or the temporary protective order, that's aggravated stalking. And then that's a felony.
And I have to say this for our listeners right now. If anybody want to call in and ask Officer Clark anything, and keep it brief, please call in. You see the number on the screen. But I have to go back what King Eric said earlier about a woman who was killed in another county. I believe, King Eric, you told me that she'd been reported to the police a lot of times or something?
Right, and that was going to be my next question.
Okay.
What advice would you give to someone who feels like, after all of the reporting that they've been given to the police, and they feel like that the police isn't taking things seriously?
So if they've reported it to the police, and they feel like the police isn't taking it serious, then they need to go to the officer supervisor. And then if that supervisor doesn't they go through what we call the chain of command.
Wow.
And then if not, then they need to go to the DA's office in their county, is how I would do that. But I would talk to that officer supervisor, because here in Douglas County, we do take those things serious. We work those. Our cases, we work those, though we take all of that serious. Because a stalking case could end up to where the person has, you talked about the lady being killed in Griffin. So we have seen in the past where people have divorced and the husbands or the wives they don't like that they've got new husbands or new wives.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll say, if I can't have you, nobody can. And then it turns into where they go in and they shoot everybody, even the children. And we've had that happen in Douglas County, where a man has come in, killed his ex-wife, and killed some of his children.
I heard that happen
years ago.
too.
Right. So they need to be persistent. It needs to be took serious.
Yeah, and one other thing, what role does social media play in that? Because from my understanding, the lady was constantly posting stuff on, reaching out on social media, posting videos of her estranged husband, riding by her house on the Ring doorbell, and just staying parked in front of her house when she wasn't there, and she wouldn't come home.
Now, was she giving that to the law enforcement?
That I have no idea. I just know that it was reported that she was posting some of it on social media.
Okay, because that needs to be given to law enforcement also. Anything like that needs to be given to law enforcement. And one thing the person needs to do that's being stalked is seize all communication with that stalker. Don't have any communication. And sometimes a stalker will send you gifts or send you letters. Don't send that stuff back. Keep that stuff. Give that to law enforcement, because when you're sending that stuff back to that stalker, that's only going to make them mad. So don't send it back. Keep it. Because, you'll see the Lifetime movies. That stuff's true.
Yes.
That does happen. So you're not trying to, and you don't try to meet up with them. Don't think meeting up with them and talking to them is going to change anything, because it's not going to change it. They're going to keep doing it. They've got you right where they want you. You seize all communication. A lot of people need to change their number. I would advise somebody that's being stalked to have 2 phones. One that you communicate with your family with, and they're the only one that have your number, and one that you do all your business with. Because in your family, your neighbors, your co-workers, they all need to know what you're going through.
Yes.
Don't have the same pattern when you're traveling. Like, for me, when I get up in the mornings and I leave, I take Trinity to daycare. I don't go the same way every time.
Okay.
You shouldn't. Because they're going to know your pattern. Don't let somebody know your pattern.
So switch up your whole pattern of life.
Yes.
To me, that's like a horrible way to live.
It
You know, and I've been knowing celebrities like, I know it's like stalking. It's basically it is like John, the Beatles, John Lennon. I
Yes.
remember, and the young lady was killed about a few years ago. Was a finalist. Is a beautiful young lady. She was killed. The guy stalked her. He had a crush on her. And I remember that. And they always look at the things, what happened to people on America's Got Talent and what happened to them. And then I'm thinking, what is it with people? It's like, won't take no for an answer. I mean, I always thought to myself, there's a lot of men and a lot of women in this world. I mean, really, it's like when you say it's over, it's over. But if I can't have you, nobody can. Those are threatening words on a text that you really want to have, right?
yes.
Is that a what kind of threat you call that?
It's a terroristic threat.
Terroristic. I know. I wanted you to say it.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Okay. So that means right there, they should have all forces to go and bring a person in for questioning. And what you mean by that? Well, I was just kidding, but.
Well, to them, they might think they're kidding, but not to a victim, not to me. I wouldn't take that as I'm kidding. What do you mean by that?
I'm glad
Tell
you
me
said
what you
that.
mean by that.
Glad you said that. And for the people's listening, please, if you want to call in and you want to ask a question to Sheriff Clark, please do so. And once again, I just want to thank the Sheriff Department, a Sheriff Office, Tim Pound again, because you sent a sharp one to us. You know her business, you know. So we know she's a human being. I thought she was a robot or something at first, but no, she's good. I was going to tease on her, said I wanted to get to her. No, you're doing a wonderful job, and I'm gonna just say something to you. But you know, we ask questions, and stalking can go from a long way because what if in the church thing? That's the big thing. Suppose that's I guess that's the same thing if it was a person of the cloth stalking someone and they want to be in that church and it's like, I want to be in this church, but the pastor harassing me, and what should I do? Who should I talk to? Now, you said you was a Christian like myself. I remember the Bible saying, you go, if you guys can't get this, you go get someone and bring them. And if it doesn't get fixed, then you should leave that church. That was, remember, I learned in the Bible. But what I was saying about in the church thing is that, what do you say to somebody want to be somewhere, they don't want to lose their job because at this certain job or some facility they're dealing with, what would you tell them? You know, how would you tell them that, look, is it worth your life or, you know, or your family?
Well, there's laws for workplace harassment, and I don't see the church being any different than being harassed by an individual or an employee. If a pastor or a person in the church is harassing you, why would you not report that? Why would you go to that pastor, or why would you go to a deacon or somewhere else? Go through your local law enforcement where it's happening at. If you go to church in another county, go through that county. But if you go to church in Douglas County, then go through your local law enforcement. But I don't see that you should treat it any different. I mean, why? I'm going to be honest. If I'm being stalked at church, I'm not going to go to the church.
Exactly.
Because not that they won't do anything, but I'm going to protect myself and my family. I mean, I need to be here to raise my daughter. I need to be here to help my husband raise my daughter.
Yes.
So I'm going to I'm going to make sure I'm protecting myself, or I'm going to make sure to protect you because you need to be here for your family.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying there's bad things in churches. I'm just saying that why would you not do it the legal way? And maybe some people think they're supposed to go down to the associate pastor or the deacons in the church, but I'm not comfortable with that because they're going to protect. I'm not saying everybody, but what if they protect their own?
Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because why I said that to say this. I was giving you that side. The other side is because I need this job. You know, I got to do this or that. Pastor, I don't want to get the pastor in trouble. But before you answer that, we're going to take a little break right now. And if anybody want to call in when we come back, you have questions for Sergeant Clark, we'll be back in 2 and 2. We have to pay some bills for now. See you then.
Good afternoon. I'm Lieutenant Elmer Horn with Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and we're here in one of our communities, and Sheriff Pounds is here with us. And Sheriff Pounds is very involved in his communities, and he come out. We brought out our grill and our smoker so we can come out and help cook for this community. And Sheriff Pounds himself has come out and helped cook with us, and he's here to cook and help these folks today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of the programs that I call taking my community back. If you don't get out there and get involved in your community, you ain't gonna be able to get it back. And the sad part about it, we losing our young men at such a pace that it's unreal. We got to come up with something that will help us with these children. Got to. So this is what I'm doing. I love it. I'm out here in the sun. It's hot, but like I said earlier, we're gonna do these until we get that gap between law enforcement and the community bridge. We're going to bridge that gap because we're going to get out of here, we're going to shake hands, we're going to find out if they got any kind of problem we can assist them with, and invite them to the sheriff's office and come to the roll call. Just come see what's going on at the office. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Thank you, Sheriff Pounds. And like I said, this is just one of many events that we bring this grill out to help with our communities and get involved.
Today's world exposes our youth to life experiences that are well beyond that which their years should allow. Violence, trauma, poverty, injustice. Our children's lives and their livelihoods are in constant danger. Wisdom, Inc. is a community-based organization designed to save young lives by reducing violence and assisting youth in their personal development. Wisdom stands for wise individuals structuring and developing youthful minds. Through our collective wisdom, we can change lives for the better. Wisdom, Inc. Reducing violence, developing youth, saving lives.
In to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon.
Hey, we're back. We are back for the second half, and we're still talking about stalking. And I just want to say to all the people out there listening, please call in. You see the number on the screen. And we're asking also, Roku, Talk Show Kings 1061. Please pull us up, carry us, and also YouTube, TV 1061. And I believe King, y'all cats had to say something?
Oh, yes, I do have to say something. I want to give a shout out to Dr. Bannister.
Oh, okay. She's a retired judge, isn't she?
Yes, a retired judge.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. All right, then. Well, hey, we want to say congratulations, because I know it's not hard as a police officer being a judge. So congratulations to you. Okay, now we're getting back. If anybody want to call in and ask a question right now, to ask Sergeant Clark to feel so. And once again, I want to put a shout out to Sheriff Tim Pounds. You know, before I set up having an interview with Dr. Clark, look at you. I'm getting you up there, girl. Look at me. With Sergeant Clark, I remember he was telling me, "Oh, you're going to love Sergeant Christy. She's smart." I got scared for a minute. Like, what's she going to do? No, but she's really a sweet person here. And I want to thank also Tim Pounds, this administration, for making this thing happen today. And getting back to you right now, I think I was asking you a question. Do you remember what I was asked the last thing I asked you when I was set? Are you just like me? We all getting old here?
Yes.
Well, I had a question. So we were talking earlier, you were talking about things that normally stalking victims can do as far as getting a restraining order and everything. And when they feel like that doesn't work and they go out and they purchase their own weapon and then they go ahead and assassinate the stalker, I mean, how is that rectified in the law enforcement, with law enforcement? How is that handled when it comes to that?
So it's going to be investigated just as if through it. We're going to investigate it. We're going to find out why you did what you did, and we're going to work with the DA's office and see would there be any criminal charges. I mean, I'm not going to tell you to be a vigilante and go out there and kill somebody. But I'm also not, I'm pro-gun. I'm not going to tell you not to purchase a gun to protect yourself. You have the right to protect your home, yourself. You have that right. I would advise to have pepper spray, even one of those big, loud horns.
Okay. Yeah.
That you can do that. And I advise having a gun. I'm pro-gun. I'm not.
I just became pro-gun today. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I gotta shoot this, but when it comes with your family, just like I'm as being a police officer, it's like when you gotta do a duty, it's like, okay, I gotta blink this out. Somebody's saying, help me, please, and you just forget that, hey, I gotta go help that person, and my heart go out to you what you're doing. I want to thank you for your service of doing that, because I know each and every day, no matter what side, everybody putting their life on the line. If you're doing good or bad, somebody doing something, and hopefully the good, that's overcome the bad. Because, I mean, that's a job. You said something earlier. But Eric asked you, how do you separate yourself? And I told you, I couldn't do that, because if I'm seeing somebody being abused, an innocent child, I'm thinking, off the set, I can say anything, but I be want to tear that person apart. You know what I'm saying? But you have laws, and you can't go through things. You have to go by the law. But I don't see how you guys do it. I can't imagine walking into a crime scene and,
I mean, like I told you earlier, we're all human, but you got to remember, at the end, you're there for that victim and that victim's family. So when we can get justice for them, that's the win for us.
I like that. You want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying, just anger. Like, if anything happens with children, like I also love kids, but somebody's gonna have to hold me back, and that's why I also can't be a police officer, because if I hear anything with children, who's to say I'm not going to go and wring their neck while I'm on duty? The amount of control y'all have, I commend that.
I mean, I can't tell you that I haven't worked cases that really bothered me, or my coworkers hadn't heard me scream at a computer screen, especially when you're working like the child exploitation, where you're working where they're you see explicit videos of children and horrible things being done to them. I've screamed at a video. I've screamed at my computer. I've threw things. I'm not telling you that we're not human, but that's with our coworkers. You're not doing that in front of your suspect or in front of your victims, and your coworkers become your family. I mean, we're a pretty in criminal investigations division, we're a pretty tight niche group.
Really?
We have great supervisors above and us. I mean, as a sergeant, we have our investigators are top notch.
Really?
I would put them up against any investigators in Georgia.
I like that.
And our crime scene, I would put our crime scene up against any in Georgia.
Okay,
Now,
Kingy.
let me ask you this. I know that sometimes you may deal with mental health issues with some of the stalkers. I mean, how does that play a factor into that, the person that's doing the stalking, to that stalker? How does the mental health issues play a?
So we, a lot of us have what we call the crisis intervention team training, the CIT training. So we have that training, and so even a lot of the mental health does sometimes play into that. So you just have to be able to talk to them and find out and listen to their families. Their families can tell you what their triggers are. Because some people, their trigger might be a female, sometimes their trigger might be a male. We got to learn their triggers, talking to their family, listening to them, talking to them in a calm way. I mean, you have to know, there's a lot of listening in our job, a lot of listening. And you got to do a lot of training with mental health. And we have had training with mental health. And you see a lot of mental health coming, but we also have to do our job. Sometimes we do have to put the mental health in our facility. Yes. I mean, it happens.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's interesting, because when you just said something, it touched me. You guys are like a family, and it's got to be hard being around people like that. You lose some member of the force by something happen out there because they're trying to help someone. Do you know, I hate to put you on the spot, is anybody that you know personally try to help someone and died in the act of helping?
Well, we've only had one officer-involved shooting where our officer was killed, and so that happened. And he actually, I actually rode with him on the road. But a lot of our officers, our deputies at our facility, were really close with Blake Gamble, but. Even though like the Paulding County shooting that just happened on the domestic violence case, even though I didn't personally know him, you still feel bad for Paulding County's family.
Yes.
Or same with Carroll County, because, that happened in Carroll County where that deputy, the GBI, he was helping the GBI and he got killed in that one. But personally, I might not know him, but as a law enforcement, you're still there for your law enforcement family.
Yeah. I'm glad I asked you that. This is the first time I ever spoken to someone like yourself. I never actually interviewed someone and saying, how do you feel? And just the sentiments, what you're saying, that touched me, because they all have a job with a badge to try to help somebody, and who don't know if they're going to be home, might make it home, No,
that's true. That's true, but it doesn't matter if the person that's killed in your county or in another county or in another state. As law enforcement, we all feel bad for that agency, that family, their family, because it's hard to lose a law enforcement officer because you work day in and day out with those people.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. Are there any warning signs when it comes to that someone can look at to tell if this person their actions can escalate to stalking?
Yes. So, say they're calling you constantly or texting you, and you've already told them not to, or say you're at a store, like you went up to the Dollar General and you see their car out there. That is a sign. The multiple callings or the multiple texting, or you see them where you're at, those are all signs of stalking that you need to be aware of.
Yeah, I don't care what nobody say. I think it's scary.
It's
truly
scary.
Scary. You're telling somebody, I don't want no part, yada, yada. And every time you're at a party, some event, the movie theater, the
or a
grocery
restaurant, at a grocery store. If you're at Walmart and you see them and
they're walking down the aisle, you're coming up. Yes,
that is signs.
And right then and there, you think a person say, you know, somebody out there right now have experienced this, and they don't know what to do. They're afraid. And one thing, I'm so glad you're here today, because since I've been living here since Katrina, I moved here. I bought a home here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I never felt so safer. I feel good. I always did. Like the policeman, I have no problem. I would speak. They speak back. Everybody kind. Because it's sad when I always say it's on the station. I had a stroke in 2020, and I remember when I locked my keys in the car 3 times, and I did not know what car I'm driving. And they were so kind. I said, look, I had a stroke. I'm so sorry. They say, well, what's your name? Get my name, and they knew my car. I'm like, wow. You know, and they so politely opened the door, and I looked at them, but I remember shaking their hand. I mean, and I felt so good. I say, sir, thank you. They say, hey, God, it's all right, buddy. That made me feel good. It's like, man, I'm a part of this community.
Because it's community policing.
I like that. So it's like family, all here to help each other. You
Correct.
know? Yeah, and I mean, you better believe we're gonna be watching you now, because you're gonna be our officer friendly. We're gonna where's Christy? Where's Christy? I ain't gonna say that full name. No, but once again, I truly want to thank 10 Pound, and I want to say this to 10 Pound's wife. Thank you, because I would never talk to 10 Pound unless I got through you, because you were so kind to me also. I remember she was very pleasant, and you know, and is anything, you know, that we should not only know about the stalking, and say, you know what's even the weirdest thing, and it's a little close, personal. What about somebody in your family stalking? That could be really eerie, you know, a family member, you know.
I mean, that happens. I've had 2 sisters that's happened with, that I've worked before.
Really?
But usually that's, a lot of times you'll see the family stalking thing right there, especially when there's like a death or something. Oh. And there's going to be money involved.
Oh, that's a different type of stalking. Yeah. Oh, okay. Wow, I never thought about that.
Or harassment.
Harassment, okay. Man, so, but getting back to the school, you didn't have to tell me any names of the story, but anybody can you personally and just say this going on, I feel like this happened in my family, stalking, I'm this, and you had opened up to them and talk with them and work with them and to solve that case?
So in the schools, usually it's like the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and they're broke up with each other, and they want to they don't want to them to be with somebody else. Now I have a stalking case that I've worked, but I can't go into that one because it's still open. Now, so I can't go into that case.
Yeah, I understand.
Because it's open and we're getting ready to go to trial.
Right. The other question I had is, how can communities help and family members help a stalking victim when they know that they're being stalked? Like, say for instance, when you have someone coming up to a person's job, how can those coworkers or the employment that they're at work help in those situations?
So they can intervene by getting calling law enforcement, having law enforcement do a criminal trespass on that person from there. They can have cameras in their around their homes. They can have cameras at the workplace. They can to make it to where, like, if they try to come inside, they have the, like, do the intervention with them, and make them get out. Call law enforcement. I am very much telling you, tell your people to call law enforcement. Let law enforcement do the communicating.
We got a caller.
Okay.
Somebody called in. Okay. Oh, that was quick. They got scared before they even answered the phone. Well, I changed my mind. They might catch me. No, but what you're saying is so important. And I'll tell you something. Some people say I'm crazy. I wouldn't want your job for $1 million. I wouldn't, because I guess as I said to you earlier at the beginning of the show, that when I think about the young man who killed those 4 people, now he got to deal with the rest of his life, and the parents, and I think everybody failed on both sides. Both sides, everybody is done for. This memory is not going to go like talking about it.
But when it comes to children, it starts with a parent. You have to be the parent and not their friend. We can't be our children's friend. We're their parent first. And if us as parents aren't doing our job, then we have failed our children. Wow.
That's deep. And it's so odd you said that, because I remember the guy the young man did the killing. Him and his dad they were hunters, and they was like buddies, best buddies.
You can go hunting with your children, but you still have to discipline your children. You still have to teach them wrong from right. You have to be their parent first.
You're so right. What could go in a person's mind to give what was an assault weapon or something, I believe? The story about the young man did the killing?
Was it an AR? I think it was an AR-15.
It was, yeah.
I mean,
but our sons hunted. My husband hunted with our sons, but you're still their parent.
Yes.
You still have to discipline your children. You have to find out what your child's corporal punishment is still legal in Georgia. It doesn't mean that corporal punishment is what you should do. That's what your child is going to relate to. They might relate to taking their phone away, or taking their game system away, or taking their car away. You got to find out what discipline is going to work for your child. But being a child's friend is not what you need to do. You are their parent, not their friend.
I'm so glad. Well, I hear somebody in the studio. Oh, that's a beautiful little girl. I think that's your daughter.
It is.
Look like a little Shirley Temple. You guys, babe, you can see how pretty the thing is. You just can't tell her nothing. I appreciate that. You said the most important thing. You can't be your child's friend. And you can't. And I say the same thing. My daughter called me Dad, always. And God's just like, yes, honey. They never stop asking questions. It's like, really, what you think about this? And I never say anything. But I love when you say that, because you can't be a friend. But, even just thinking, as my buddy King Yaquez said, he said, the whole yourself, because I would be angry at the parent. It's like you said, I'd be angry at him, because you gave him the permission to go out there and do what you did. Because who would do something like that to a child? Really? A young kid who's having these growing pains, and he said something to me. To this day, I still don't know what happened. But and I believe that's a sense of stalking, you think? Because the young man waited till it was school break and he got back in. He had it planned. So that was like a stalking, you think, isn't it?
I don't know that I would call that stalking.
Really?
No.
What you call that? Plan?
Me had a plan. It's a homicide. I call it meanness.
Yeah, meanness.
It's not stalking.
He had a task he wanted to do.
Yes.
My gosh, man. And by the way, we still on the lines are open right now. If anybody want to call in, and for the caller we lost, we sorry, I don't know what happened. We lost you. Please call back in and feel free, because she's a nice sergeant. She's you can talk to her. And once I do notice one thing, was some women become stalked, they feel comfortable talking to a female. I've heard that before too. I don't want to talk to a male because I've been through this, and I don't trust a man. And you have somebody always be able to talk to them, right?
Yes, if they want to talk to a woman, we'll give them a woman.
Okay. Then,
yes, we'll make sure that happens. We're not going to make them talk to a man if they're not comfortable.
But you know what make you want to say something? I was going to ask a question. You know what? They got some guys being stalked, and they don't feel like they're a man if they got to report a woman because of fear. I heard some guys say, "I won't hit a woman," but she fears it fears me. Should I report this? What would you tell a man if he's been stalked by a woman?
I would tell them to man up and report it, because women can kill you just as fast as a man can kill you.
Wow, I got to man up then, man. I told my wife I'm not washing the dishes anymore, man. I'm going to man up when I get home. You sure? Because she always make me sweet. No, that's good, man up. But at the same time, you know, I look at the psychological thing. A guy might say, I remember my mom was being beat by this guy, you know, and I would never do that. And, you know, and then maybe, I don't know. It might be a psychological thing.
You got to break that cycle.
For us men, it's the way we think. Like, a lot of men nowadays, we don't go to the doctor like we're supposed to. It's the same thing, you know, if something's done to a man, we're not quick to report it just because we're men, we got to take it. So, like she just said, we just got to break that line of thinking.
So
I guess that make a lot of sense. And we have someone in the audience who want to ask a question. It's asked, if someone wanted to get in your field, what would it take?
So they can apply at the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Usually you start off in the jail, but we do have what we call deputy recruits. And you could go in as a deputy recruit, and then they can go through Captain Arnold or Miss Tahisha. And fill out the application. They will give you the paperwork to do, and then be on the road for a couple of years, like patrol. Get out there for a couple of years, do patrol, and then after you get some experience, then come up to investigations.
Our producer of the show was asking. She had this beautiful daughter. Everybody wanted her to see. I call her Little Shirley Temple. When she first saw me, she said, "Can I dance?" I almost gave her a move, but she don't know me. I was gonna break dance. Phew, thank God she would put me in challenge. No, but that's interesting. I'm glad you said that, because is there a certain age you can get on the force? You have to be a certain age, anything?
You have to be 18 to go in our jail, but you have to be 21 to go on patrol.
Oh, okay, then I think I passed all of that. I'm in a retirement stage, you know. Hey, they don't be laughing, you know. Yeah, so we about to have a daughter come on the set with us, and is that Trinity, right?
Yes, sir, Trinity.
A little butterball, 3 years old. This is cute as a button. I mean, she have a lot of energy. She was running around the studio. I couldn't catch her. I was like, get her. I think they gave her candy or something. Oh man, I tell you, if is Trinity out there? Is Trinity in the audience out there? Trinity, do you want to come on? Would you want to come on the set, Trinity? All right, look at her.
No fear at all.
Oh my God, here she go. Come right around this way and go to your mommy. Oh my God. I told you guys she was pretty as a little button. Look at her. Little Shirley Temple, I called her.
You want to sing?
Can you say hello?
Hello.
All right. And how old are you? Whoa, I'm glad she don't have one hand. She have 3. You're a smart girl, aren't you? And you like to dance, you told me, right? Are you a dancer?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm about to tell my grandkids, you see, she like to dance. You guys better get ready when I see you guys. Can you sing?
Yeah.
Whoa, she have the voice for look at her. Oh my God, she is cute as a button. I tell you, I don't know how you did with that. Look at her. Now she's waving at Dad like, look, Dad, look at me. I'm a superstar. What? Hey, well, you know what? Hey, don't worry. Now we're about to close, but in the final thoughts, is anything you have to say, King Yaquez?
One thing I gotta say is I commend y'all for the amount of control y'all have, because, like I said myself, I won't be able to hold myself back doing what you do. So I commend you for that.
I wanna do it. I want my mommy better than my mommy.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's your final thoughts? Okay.
My final thoughts is I appreciate you coming on the show, giving us the information that's needed for those that's going through stalking or may experience that. That's all I have.
Hey, is anything you have to say?
Well, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
Thank you for being
really
here.
Appreciate y'all.
And we thank Tim Pound and the Sheriff Department.
And I love my mommy better than my mama.
What? All right, then, okay. My final thoughts is she is cute as a button, but I have 13. I don't want any more. So see you guys next week, God be willing. And remember, be careful you do it to others because somebody might do it to you. And we out now. We gone. See you next week.
All right, peace, everybody.
And
You are tuned in to Talk Show Kings on TV 1061.
Man, what they gonna do with this black on black crime, man? I'm sick of this. Thank you for watching another edition of Talk Show Kings on TV 1061. We'll be seeing you soon.